This right here is an explanation of the WSPS model. WS is the wage setting curve, PS is the price setting curve. So the wage setting is all about like workers and what level of sharpness or how much they can slack at work. So as we can see, employment and real wage on this axis. If there is currently low employment or high unemployment in the economy, what happens is that workers are worried about losing their jobs, so it's hard for them to find new ones. So they're highly value they they value all of the wages. So the motivation is really high. So they cannot slack off at this particular point, right? And then at this particular point right here, towards the x-axis, the right end of the x-axis, it's easy for workers to find new jobs. Motivation is low because employment is high, so they will shirk off at work. They will mess around, and then they will they basically mess around. So because they know that if they get fired, they can get another job elsewhere because employment is just very high at that particular point. So a good way to demonstrate the WS curve is basically this is the WS wage setting curve, and then let's just let this be the labor supply curve. This is exactly how WS is made. So at perfect competition, the wage equals the marginal product of labor. So at this particular point, as you can see, as it goes along, the I don't think they intersect, sorry. As you go along as employment increases, the gap, the differential is actually big, right? This way and this way. This means that as employment is higher, workers they demand more and more wages at this particular point because they know that since employment is high, they can slack off at work because they know they can find a better job elsewhere if they get fired, right? So basically, I don't think you have to know the LS, but WS curve demonstrates exactly at what wage the workers are willing to work at, right? Low employment, they don't slack off that much because they value their jobs a lot. High employment, this side, it's good. So this brings about a PS. PS is the price setting curve. This is basically what the firm sets. So it divides the value of output the worker creates between profit to the firm and real wages to the worker. So if, let's just say, output per worker is like that, it divides it separately. So this would be the real wages per worker. This is the keep it. This is the real wages per worker, and this is the profits, what the firm gets. So within the WSPS model, this is shift in PS. If PS lowers or drops like that, it means that firm has reduced its real wages. So the workers only get this much real wage, and the company gets a greater percentage of profits they get, right? That's number one. Similarly, the other way around, if they increase the PS curve, what happens is, remember, this is the maximum. Let this be the max. If they increase it all the way here, this is the workers get, and they only get this small amount of profit right here. So PS determines how much profit a firm gets, or the ratio between the real wages per worker and the profits per worker. Okay, so that's when PS curves up and down. The question is, when does WS curve shifts left or right? If for some reason, miraculously, workers, remember, this is real wages here, and this is employment, or Y. If for some reason, let's just say workers, they increase in productivity, ooh, cool, and they don't want a higher wage, I don't know why, so this would cause a WS shift to the right. Why? Because with the same wage, they increase their employment opportunity from like YA to YB. So shifting to left. If for some reason workers feel not motivated at all, this would shift the WS from right to left. That's the key thing. I don't think you have to memorize this bit, all the thing about WS and LS. This is all about shirking and the willingness to work. But this sort of explains how the WS curve was made in the very first place, why it's a linear, almost like diverging to the LS. But I think you have to remember the shifts in the WS and the shifts in the LS. That's the key thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.